Hi everyone. So good morning and welcome again to yet another new session. So today we are going to see how we can build a simple application which help us to communicate with the any hardware with the help of a Bluetooth. So for that prerequisites we need one hardware which is going to be ESP32. So basically we are going to use this particular machine or chip. So to transfer data to any hardware. So basically, for an instance, if you are making some battery kind of a system where you want to monitor a battery voltage or all the things, you can use this to get the data from the actual hardware and transmit it over to the mobile phone. And also there could be a cases where you want to set some kind of parameters, correct? So in that case also you can use this to act as a mediator. So yeah, so this is where we are going to use it. So it's a ESP32. I'll put up a link for the same if you want to purchase it whenever it goes live on YouTube. Yeah. So let me just start by explaining how Bluetooth communication works. So there are like many different ways, but I'll talk about specifically two, which is one is by the serial. So serial Bluetooth connection is what where basically we are using a old traditional way of communicating between a Bluetooth device to our smartphone. But the limitation there is, we can't do that kind of communication with the iOS device because iOS do not support the basic serial communication with the Bluetooth. The standards which they support, it has to have a characteristics and services defined to it. So that's about what are the ways. So what kind of way we are going to look for is, as you know, we are using Flutter, so we can't just make application for Android, correct? So we are going with the second approach, which is regarding ESP32 communication with Flutter using Flutter Blue Plus package. It basically helps us to identify the characteristics and services. Okay, so let me start by explaining what are the characteristics and what are the services. So we can define services as, for example, certain. For one second. I think there is one comment. I think background is getting blurred. One second. Uh, so now is it okay? I'm audible. I hope. Uh, okay, let me rejoin. If one second. Is it better now? Okay. So let me start over again. So as I said previously, we are going to use the second part of the communication method, which is going to be using characteristics and service based communication. So in that, basically, we can define any number of services with the help of like a hardware level code, which is written in a C language. I'll explain you a code which is I have already prepared for us, so that it basically what it does is basically I'll explain it a little better when we come to the example. But yeah, so let me start by explaining like with what kind of package we are going to use. So for for this particular exercise we are going to use Flutter Blue Plus package. So let me start sharing my screen and explain what is the agenda, and let's understand what are the characteristics, what is services, and how we transmit the data. And we'll first use one app called as NRF Connect to transfer that data and see our application in action. And later we will empathize, like we will make that same kind of experience with our own app. Okay, so let me start by what kind of UI we are going to see. So this is what we are going to produce at the end of it. So it's going to be, first you need to connect the device. Once it is connected, you can then turn on and off the LED. So yeah, so this is how it's going to be. So let me just give you a quick run through of what kind of code I have written in Arduino. I'm not going to explain it in depth because like that's not part of our agenda today. So yeah. So basically, we have defined one characteristics and one services. So basically, how the structure works is inside one service. we can define n number of characteristics. This is how it works. So characteristics works as a gateway to pass the data back and forth. Okay. So in this, we are going to make this service, a particular service, which is this one, going to be read and writable. So what we are going to do is we are going to define value for it as a 00. So let me just comment and write it here. So initial value of the LED is going to be 00. If the value is 00, the LED will not be blown. It will be off, and once it turns to 01, it will be on. So we are going to just transfer the 1 byte of data with the help of Flutter, and see how we can light up and light down the LED. So I'm going to explain you how to read and write both, and you can do any number of experiments with it. I would say, but I'll just explain you with this example. This UI I have already prepared for it. Okay, so let me just start by explaining what package we are going to use. So we are going to use Flutter Blue Plus. Okay, so basically this package we are going to use. So this package help us to write, read, also listen. Listen means whenever there is a property which is notified. For example, if the hardware is going to notify us immediately after we get a result, so we can even use that, which is like, calling a notification. It's kind of a read, but whenever we are going to get a some kind of readable message from the hardware, then it's going to be invoked automatically. Okay, so step to do this. So first step is to establish a connection between a hardware and the Flutter application. So to do that, we need to discover a certain amount of devices which are available nearby. Okay. So before jump into an actual example, let me show you this particular hardware experiment with the help of NRF Connect. So as I explained, we are going to use one software called as NRF Connect, which help us to achieve the same thing. One second. So I'm just giving some power to our hardware. I have already built a code which I just showed you. It just so as you can see, it has a one red LED. Okay, but our actual LED is kind of a blue. So I'll just different spoon, and I'll just show you. When we are going to make our own app, I'll make sure that it will be more visible as I'm going to connect the device to the screen. Okay. So this is the NRF Connect app. Let me just turn off the blurring. Okay. So this is the app we are going to use. Not sure if you can see it, but it is showing me ESP32 LED device, which is I have set up. So I'm now going to connect this device, and the current value of this is 0. I'm sure that you're not able to see it. So I can try. See, as you might have seen, it's like a 00 value over here. So I'll just update it to 01 and see what happens. As you can see, the LED blown, right? Similarly, I'll just do it to 00 again, and let's see what happens. LED is off. So as you can see, this is the simple form of read and write, which we are going to do. Understand how we can do it with the Flutter. So it's in another app, but let's do it with the Flutter. So let me start by setting up the required things. So of course, first thing which we'll be needing is the package. So for just to make it quicker, I have already fetched the package for us, which is Flutter Blue Plus. Okay. So the setup for iOS and Android is pretty simple. For the Android, you just need to have these permissions as added. And for iOS, you need these permissions in the property list file, info pre-list file. So I'll just explain it just so that guys can follow along. I'm just showing you first iOS, then we'll jump to the Android one as well. Okay. So as you can see here into the plist file, these are the permissions which we'll be needing. So it's a basic Bluetooth level permissions which needs to be needs in order to discover the device. Okay. So now I'm connecting my hardware, sorry, my smartphone to our PC so that I can share the screen from it, because simulator it won't work as it does not discover the like real world devices. So that's why. But yeah, just a moment. Uh, I'll just disconnect. I'll just disconnect my hardware for a sec. Just making sure. Okay, so focus mode I have on. Okay, so like as you can see, I have connected iPhone 11 with there. Start movie recording. Side that screen. Okay, allow. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen now. Yes. Okay, so I'm just booting up the UI. So UI is straightforward. So our agenda is to first click on that button, which is devices are not connected. Once we click on that, we'll open up the bottom sheet, and within that bottom sheet, we will display all the devices which are there for us to pair. And also we will understand, like, based on the characteristics, we will analyze which are our device and which are not our device. So if this is not our device, so we are not going to make this connection go through. If it is our device, we are going to do that connection, and accordingly we will perform that action of turning on and off. So yeah. Okay, so UI is getting boot up. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing, so nothing works at this point, as I have not written any code. I have just prepared one bottom sheet and just a basic UI. Okay. Okay, so let's jump into it. Yeah. Okay. So as you know, guys, like we have defined those characteristics, right? So characteristics you can keep dynamic. You can go as creative as you want to be with, but I'm keeping it simple for a simplicity. So this is a service ID, which is going to which is help us understand whether it is our particular ESP32 device or not. And the other one is a characteristic ID. So characteristic ID which actually holds the data. Okay. So I have not defined anything else rather than that. Okay. Okay. So as I said, so unless and until the device is connected, we can't really perform any read or write, right? So for that, we need to get the all available devices. So how do we do it? So of course, like as we are using the package Flutter BLE, so it has a method called discover devices or start scanning. So Flutter BLE plus instance dot. So now this way we can start scanning. So start scanning will produce devices which are available to pair. Okay. So let me just define list of scanned result. Okay. 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 So let's just hide this one and see what we are getting here. So let's just say I hope it has at least one device nearby. That we already know that it has. Let's see what we get. Okay. So I'll just start with the basically discovering the devices. So I'll click on scan. So as you can see, we get the instance of devices. One second. Let me disconnect from NRF connect. So in case if it is not going to be shown, one moment, please. Okay. So let's just display the length of how many devices we have discovered. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to hit to the button which will help us to discover. And I think it's better to have a timeout of 2 seconds, I guess. Okay. Okay. So we have a list of 7 devices which we got. So this is the first device, second device, so and so. I'll just see whether we are able to. I'll of course embed it within the UI. I'm just looking for. Okay. I think it's very tedious to do this way. Okay. So let me just iterate this and display their names. So for that, we'll use a for loop basically just to see our ESP device is there in the list or not, just to before we proceed any further. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to scan again. Okay. So as you can see, our device is here ESP32 LED. So we have actually able to get the device with us. So what I have done so far, we have just done the start scanning. In this, we get the results of scan results. And now what we are going to do is we'll use that bottom sheet to make some UI where we can have a button to connect. That's pretty much it we're going to do right now. Okay, so this is our scan devices. Okay, one second. What is okay? Sorry. Okay, so here we go again. So we have a scan device list. So we will use list this view here dot separated. Okay. So I'm going to use this view separated here just to make that little bit of fancy list. We'll use list style. Okay. We'll use title as a name of the device. Okay. So final scanned, let's say called result is equal to scan result of index. Okay. So let's just take the name of that device or name. And if it is empty, then we'll call it unknown device. Otherwise, we'll use the device name. Okay. Just bear with me for 5 minutes so I can finish up this code. It's pretty simple though. Okay. Let's just see what we have done, whether we have successfully made something or we just okay. So I'll put up some loaders and all. So as you can see, we have a list of devices. So UK is um, just to erase the confusion here. Okay. So let me just have a loader. Meanwhile, we are doing something here. So let's say set that I have already defined one variable, which just basically us loads, show some loader. So make it true. And once we finish up with our thing, we'll make sure that it goes off again. So let's say false. Okay, so let me do that again and just so you guys can understand. As you can see, loader will happen, bottom sheet will come, and we'll select the appropriate device and we'll do our now connection thing. Okay. As I said previously, we are going to allow the connection to only device which are belonging to us. So how do we define whether this device belongs to us. There are ways to directly understand with the help of you know before even connecting, we can filter out with the help of UIDs or a name if it is going to be unique as such. For example, I'll just display a UID here instead. Just I'll show you what I mean. So see, as you can see, I can pretty much understand with the help of, and this is the right way to do it. But like just to demonstrate it even further, I'll just try to connect the device. I'll discover the services, and if we don't have that particular service within it, we will simply just say this is not our device. So we'll just not allow it to connect, and we'll just disconnect that device again. Okay. So ideally, if your UID is there or your name is there, you can filter out the device very quickly without having to basically write something more to it. But yeah, for this demonstration purpose, I'll show you that part as well because this is very simple to do. Just filtering. Okay, so now what I'm going to do in trailing part, I'll just add one button, elevated button. I'll just create a on click function. Will basically connect over here and text connect. Okay. So I'll not just show you the UI because it's going to be just a connect button. Okay. So as somebody is going to click on that particular result, what we are going to do is we are going to get this device. Okay. Okay, 1 second. So basically this particular device which is going to be there, which will be needing in order to connect and disconnect. So so for that, I'll just have a variable name connected device. So basically connected device is a device which is going to be which is going to be picked after we verify whether the service is there or not. Okay. Let's just start by doing it. So for now, what I'm doing is I'm going to just as soon as user taps on the particular device, I'm going to just dispose of this particular bottom sheet. So I'll just simply navigate back. So navigator dot off context and pop, so that we can light the logic despite of everything else. So if this particular device which we got, if device is connect uh, Bluetooth device, okay, here we are going to discover its services. Okay, so now we are coming to the main part where we actually writing a logic to it. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so let's have a variable called as uh, uh, okay, no problem, let's not have a variable at this point. Okay, so let's have a characteristic here. One second. So let's just discover the services belongs to this. So it has a method called as discover services. Okay, so it will basically give us the all the services which are there, which is binded with this particular device. So let me show you what are the services we have. Okay, and I'll show you which particular service ID we are interested in. Okay, so let's just write a for loop again to display the UIDs. Okay, print service of I dot UID. Okay, okay. Yeah, and I think let's disconnect this device again. Okay. Oh, here one step was missed by me was we'll need to make sure that it particular device get connected, right? Like then only we can release this particular bottom sheet off. So got connect. So we are going to establish a connection. As soon as we get the connection ready, we will just return that to our main caller. Okay, you can write it very effective code if you are using block or any other state management, but I'm using just a stateful widget. So its code is going to be part of the UI itself. So yeah. Okay, so as we what we have done is we have just created a button which connects the device, returns the pop, and then after that we are going to see what are the services there in that particular Bluetooth device. So I'm going to disconnect it again. Don't worry, like I'll explain you why we need to disconnect after we discover and like if we are done with a particular Bluetooth device. It's simple, like basically we can connect to one device at the one time. I think it's a basic phenomena. Oh my god, I think I disconnected. No problem, I'll just reconnect again. I hope so far you are able to follow along. Um, yes. So now what we are going to do is we are going to simply match the UID of this particular service with our service ID, and based upon that, we'll also find out what is the characteristics which we are interested in. And as we have the characteristics, we just need to jump from 00 to 01, 01 to 00. It's going to be like this. But keep in mind, data transfer between the two devices is going to be in a hexadecimal format and also is a little Indian format. So just to give you a basic context of what is little Indian, basically higher significant byte comes later and lower significant byte comes before that. So now we have only 1 byte of data, so we don't have to worry about it. But for instance, let's say we have a number like 0A, for example 0A89. Okay, this is our number in order. Okay, so if hardware is going to transmit this particular data, so data is going to be like this 890A. So higher significant byte is going to be at the second most, like the later position, and the leftmost is going to be lower significant. So this is how it's going to be. And if you want to convert the data into our decimal, we need to of course switch it again, make it like this, and then convert it. If you want to know more about the little Indian format, I'll put up a link within the description so you can learn more about it. But we are not going to worry about this one here because we have simple 0 and 1 and it is 1 byte. So not nothing to be worried about. Okay. Okay. So I'm back online again. Okay. So its loader is happening. Okay. So for some reason didn't get any device. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to also pin here so it would be easy. Okay. So we are going to discover the services. So as you can see, we got one service and it has a characteristics one which we have defined and it has that particular UID. As you can see, 31. Okay, so it has a different service ID, I guess. No problem, actually. We can use that as a service ID. Okay, that is a device ID. Once. Okay, it is a same one. 4FAFC. So as you can see, I'm printing it here as well. Correct. Okay, so now we have the service ID which we have identified. So for instance, if the service ID is equal to our service ID, so 1 second, I'll make it toString and also lowercase, just in case it is not in lowercase, our ID is already in lowercase. In that case, we are going to look for its characteristics. So let me do that. So this is like a list of okay. Now within that characteristic, we are going to look for our particular characteristic. So how do we do it? Like, of course, another for loop. List of characteristics of then again same condition. If that characteristics ID is our characteristic ID, then we are going to keep it. Oh, we got the ID. We got what we actually wanted to have, list of IDs, then what? Okay. So if we reach to this block, that means we have successfully got the particular characteristic which we wanted. So I'll put up current characteristic with this one. So this is going to be our character. Sorry. Okay. Cool. Okay. So we got our current characteristic successfully. Fine. So now what we are going to do is, as I said, like there could be a case where we want to show an alert in case we try to connect some different device. Okay, so let me demonstrate that. If it is going to be null in any case, that means we are not able to understand, like we are not able to decode and find our characteristic, right? So in case I'll just add print over here, but you can have a toast or anything you want over this. Not found. Else only we are going to disconnection is not going to happen in any case. Okay. Okay. Let me just show you whether we can see it if we try to connect some other device. Some device are like can reject the connection as well, so keep that in mind as well. Let me see. This is unknown characteristic. So why did it taking so long? Because those particular devices are not allowing us to connect. Okay, so this particular device does connect allowed us. So as you can see, the characteristic or service ID is not matched. So we got not found. Okay, so let's now do our part of the story. Okay. So as I said, like if we get the characteristic, we can read the value out of it. Correct. So in that case, we'll use else part. Okay. And then we are going to extract the value within that. Okay. So how do we do it? We will use read method. Okay. So basically read provides us data in the list of integer, and that we can convert it into a string basically, and string is a hexadecimal string, and then we can pass it again into integer because our ultimate goal is to understand whether it is 0 or 1. That's it, right? Final list of integer raw. So this is a raw data, so we need to convert it into the hex. So we'll use hex dot decode, sorry, encode, I guess encode. It will convert that raw data. This is hex basically there in the convert dot package, which is I guess Flutter's by default package. Final value. Let's see what we are getting here. Print. Okay. Yeah, pieces are coming together. So I think we are soon going to see what I showed you with the help of NRF Connect before with our app as well soon enough. So let me discover the services again. Where is our device? Connecting it. As you can see, it has a value 0, 0. Fantastic. Okay. So now we know we found the value. Now it is 0, 0. So now we are going to pass that in dot parse into. So why I'm putting like 16 here, because as you can see, parsing in the documentation, we need to define where it's going to pass it from. For example, it's hexadecimal. That's why I'm putting a 16 over here. If it was a decimal number which you are going to parse, so it's going to be 10. So for example, if there is a 0A, so it will not give an exception because it's a hexadecimally accepted number. Actual value. Okay, this is our actual value. Now read is going to be finished soon. Okay, let's just see it one more time, whether we are getting the actual value correctly. Okay, so we have a 0. So as I said, like we have a flag that defines whether it is on or not. So is LED button on? If it is equal to 1, then it is going to be on. Correct. So let me just see it again. So before that, I'll just update the value of that particular hardware to one with the different software, so we can see something. UI is getting changed. So now it is 0. I'm making it to 1. Give me a minute. 0 1. I'm not using our software yet. I'm using the NRF Connect itself. Now what I'll do is I'll discover the particular service and I'll show you. One second. One moment, please, guys. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll need to disconnect the device from NRF Connect. One second. Yes. Now we can see our LED. Now see it happening. Okay. As you can see, so LED is on. That's why it's got on by default. So now what we'll do is we are going to perform a write operation. So in that case, we are going to pass on 0. Like now, if we tap again, it will be off. So we'll pass a 1, 0 in that place, respectively vice versa. So basically, what our agenda is, when I tap on this particular button, it needs to react and change the value of it accordingly. So where is the button? Okay, so here it is. Firstly, I'll just put up a condition. This connected device is equal to null. Then in that case, it should not do anything, right? Like we don't want to perform any action as it's going to result in something unexpected only. Okay, I'll just restart again. Now we don't need to have a disconnect from here, but rather we'll put up condition here. Okay, if this particular device is empty, in that case we can disconnect it. Like, sorry, if this particular device is not null, in that case we'll disconnect the device and we'll also set the state for that. For that, the connected device will again go for empty, that is sorry null, and then characteristics is going to also be null in that case. So we are going to go to the reset state again, and LED bulb also we are going to make sure it's going to be off, so that it will represent that we have not read any value on that. Okay, so I think I forgot to set that device correct. Okay, so we have this particular device, right? Okay, so in this case we will just set, if all is good, then we are going to set connected device is equal to this particular device which we are looking for. Okay, so let's just see whether we are able to see the print statements or something like that on our icon click. Okay, print here. Okay, so let me just see again and I'll show you that magic trick again. Again, I'm trying to discover the devices. Our LED device is there. Hola. Okay, so we have this. Now if I tap on to it, so as we have a connected device with us, so we are getting here itself. Okay, that's fantastic. So I'll just show you again a disconnection. I'll just tap on disconnect. So now if I try to connect, click on the bulb, it is not happening. Okay, so let me write some logic which will help us to write the data onto a device. So it's pretty simple again, like in how we manage to read the data. Similarly, connected device dot write method we need to use. Sorry, I mean a characteristic, because we don't have to again fetch all the services and characteristics, as we have already plucked out the particular characteristic which we want to write again. Okay, so write. Okay, so write basically takes a list of int values how we were doing it previously. Okay. So of course, like what we are going to use hex dot decode now. Okay, it will give us the list. So let me define first raw our actual data which we need to transmit. Hold on for a second. Okay. So final, uh, let's say if uh, is is really on is equal to is okay. So we are going to switch to on to off state. This is how it's going to be. It will take care of our like UI level part. Okay. Then if it is true, in that case, our data is final data to send is going to be if it is going to be on, in that case the data is going to be 0 1, and if it is going to be off, the data is going to be 0 0. Correct. So we need to just pass this data onto this. Okay. Again, so data our final data to write is going to be, let's stop. Once again, I think I need to see how we can convert. Correct, I guess. Okay, it's a decode, not a decoder. My mistake. Okay, so in that case, we are going to pass on this and then write. Okay, so everything is set now. As soon as we are going to make sure that connection is happened, we'll see current state, and when we hit again write, it will simply update the state over there as well. Okay, so let's hope everything is set in a place. We connect the device again. As you know, it's on state. See, I can turn on and off the LED effectively. I hope everybody can see. Hope everything was not in a blur mode. No, great. So yeah, I think we have successfully turned on and off the LED with the help of a Flutter. So that's about it. I'll just quickly summarize what we have done, what are the discovering and what are the write and read. So we use basically characteristics. Also, I think I forgot to mention this is called a GADT characteristics or chart. What we can say, it's a profile, kind of a profile, which gives us the services and characteristics. I'll also put up a link to understand more about GADT. If you are interested to understand what profile it is, I'll put up important links to it. But yeah, let's quickly summarize and wrap this up. So in this particular application, we made a simple UI where we have a bulb in the center, and it has a device connected or not connected. When we click on the device connected, we are actually discovering the services, and among the particular service, we can among the particular device, we are allowing user to connect to the particular device. For instance, this device, and allowing it to connect. As soon as we connect, we are going to get their services. What is the characteristics which we want to and which we are interested into? We'll read the value out of it, and then once we have it, can use to write it again. Simple. I hope you like this quick session. Sorry, I hope you like this particular session, and soon to talk about more in terms of IoT. We are planning to make more IoT videos. If you guys are interested, please do comments about that. And also you can reach out to us on our contact@dreamcasper.com if you have any query, or you can visit to our website as well if you have any queries or anything regarding to our session or anything in particular in Flutter development. Have a good Flutter week. Bye guys.